Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Triple Double Nation. Today we'll be covering top picks for the 2021 NBA MVP. Now at our 6th edition of the 2020 and 21 season MVP rankings, we're starting to see a clear trend at the top, and that's Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, and LeBron James are the obvious early frontrunners for the prestigious accolade. That's not to say it's a done deal that everyone else is out of the race, and that this year's MVP will for sure be one of those three superstars, but early on it's clear that they've made the best case for consideration as this campaign's best player. Nikola Jokic, Denver. Nikola Jokic's torrid start to the season continued over the past week, with the Serbian big man averaging 36 points, 10.2 rebounds, and 6.8 assists over his last 4 games, while shooting 56% from the floor and 55.6% from the three. Oftentimes, when players are in the type of form Jokic currently is, they tend to get a bit selfish in seeking out their own shots. The Milwaukee Bucks head coach, Mike Budenholzer, does not believe that to be the case right now with Jokic. The only thing hurting Jokic's early season MVP case is the fact that the Denver Nuggets have now lost 3 games in a row and boast a mediocre 12-11 record. Good for the number 8 seed in the West. Regardless, Jokic's season's current leader in win shares, box plus minus, and value over replacement player has been spectacular enough to sit first in our MVP rankings 5 weeks in a row. Joel Embiid, Philadelphia. Since sitting out in a single game with knee soreness, Joel Embiid has picked up right where he left off, averaging 34.7 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 2.0 steals over the last few outings. A stretch that included a 16-point win for the Philadelphia 76ers over the Brooklyn Nets. Nets head coach Steve Nash recently had high praise for the 3-time All-Star, calling Embiid a versatile monster, and a lot of that has to do with Embiid's individual brilliance. So don't be surprised to see him overtake Jokic at the top spot at some point, especially if their respective teams continue to go on in different directions in the win column. LeBron James, LA Lakers. LeBron James, the league leader in games played this season, has been running third in MVP rankings for weeks now, but that's not to diminish his accomplishments this year. James has averaged 27.3 points, 9.0 rebounds, and 10.5 assists over his last few games, while shooting nearly 52% from the floor. His Los Angeles Lakers, meanwhile, have the second best win percentage in basketball at 76%. James recently discussed another well-known GOAT, Tom Brady, specifically in regards to his insane longevity. For what it's worth, James doesn't know if he'll be able to go quite as long as Brady, who just won a Super Bowl at 43. Whether or not James goes until his mid-40s remains to be seen, but judging by his still elite level of play, it doesn't look like the 36-year-old will be slowing down anytime soon. Kawhi Leonard, LA Clippers. It was a busy week for Kawhi Leonard and the Los Angeles Clippers, one that saw them lose Paul George for the time being with a foot injury and play 4 games, the latter 2 of which were defeats. Leonard put up 26.3 points, 8.0 rebounds, 3.8 assists, and 1.5 steals in that stretch. Though he's gone from the outside recently, hitting just 22.2% of his last 18 attempts from deep, Leonard recently took a bit of a shot at the NBA for their financially driven decision to host an All-Star game this season. Can't say Leonard is wrong there. Stephen Curry, Golden State. Stephen Curry's outstanding play this season hit new heights as the 2-time MVP has averaged 38.8 points and 6.3 assists over his last 4 games, all while shooting 58.1% from the floor and 51.9% from beyond the arc. Curry's been shooting the ball at an outrageous clip for weeks now, with his 3-point percentage sitting at 46.7% in his last 16 games. Curry has been doing his damage in a reasonable amount of playing time too, as the Golden State Warriors have been committed to keeping him at around 35 minutes per contest this season. Of course, that has hurt Golden State in the win column, as the team currently sits 16-13, 7th in the West, and with a negative .1 net rating. All perfectly mediocre marks unbecoming of a team with an MVP flamethrower leading the way. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Milwaukee. The Bucks have somewhat quietly started to resemble their juggernaut version from the past season, winning their past 5 games by a combined 104 points, including a recent 13-point win over Denver and their MVP candidate Jokic. Milwaukee is doing this without needing their superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo to go to Supernova 2, which is noteworthy. In that win streak, Antetokounmpo has averaged 25.2 points, 10.0 rebounds, 5.0 assists, and 1.8 blocks while shooting over 57% from the floor. Antetokounmpo was recently another one of the league stars to speak out against having an all-star game this year, saying he's not excited about the prospects of having to participate in it. Kevin Durant, Brooklyn. Kevin Durant hasn't played since February 5th, a game against the Toronto Raptors that saw the former league MVP be first declared out, and then told it could play before it finally being taken out before even playing 20 minutes due to COVID-19 protocols. The messy situation, which stemmed from Durant spending time with a team staffer who tested positive for coronavirus without masks, will keep Durant out until at least Friday. Even despite the fact he's tested negative since then and is still positive for having antibodies, the incident even led to Durant tweeting critically of the NBA's protocols the night of the Raptors game. Luckily, no other Nets player has tested positive for COVID-19 since that whole ordeal. Durant is averaging 29.5 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 5.2 assists this season. Damian Lillard, Portland. Damian Lillard is doing his best to keep the Portland Trail Blazers in the thick of the playoff race out west, and his efforts are paying off. In the 8 games since CJ McCollum went down, Lillard has averaged 31.5 points and 8.3 assists while shooting 47.9% from the floor and 39.8% from 3. Luka Doncic, Dallas. Luka Doncic, putting up a 27.8, 8.7, 9.3 stat line this season, has been the recipient of some criticism recently from pundits and coaches alike. Warriors head coach Steve Kerr criticized the NBA for letting stars like Doncic get away with drawing fouls on non-basketball plays. Meanwhile, ESPN's Zach Lowe took it a step further, singling out Doncic as the league's biggest whiners when it comes to foul calls. Paul George, LA Clippers. Clippers forward Paul George will be out for the time being without a timetable for his return, per his head coach Ty Lue, due to swelling in the bones of his toes. That's very unfortunate for LA, as George has been playing fantastically this season, putting up 24.4 points, 6.2 rebounds, and 5.5 assists while shooting 50.8% from the floor and 47.8% from 3. George's teammate Reggie Jackson said George is remaining upbeat around the team despite the difficult circumstances. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. With that, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.